How much money does he have to make?
At least 500,000.
So if he made 300,000, you couldn't do it.
Possibly, it's possible.
Make at least 100,000 a year.
Tall, 6'4" or taller, 100,000 or more.
I like 6'3" and up. Would be about 100. At least 6 foot and taller. 500K and up.
Over 100,000, 150,000.
100,000 a year.
At least 200,000 a year.
Like 6 feet, over 100K.
Like 90 and 100,000. At least 6 foot or taller. At least 6'3". At least 100.
6 foot. At least $500,000.
That'd be at least 6 feet 1 inch.
At least over 6 foot.
Over 100. At least 150K.
So he needs to be at least 6 feet tall, ideally 6'5". Of course, we do love our men tall. Wait, what was that second requirement? They have to be making 6 figures, no exceptions. So it looks like only 0.04% of men in the United States meet those requirements. That can't be right. Yep, out of 165 million men, that's only 72,000. Have you thought about adopting some cats and following Imran the finance engineer?
6 foot. A million.
Oh, you're on drugs.
That make me crazy. Yeah!
Finish. I practice hypergamy.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ron back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So I got I want to say more like a collection of videos that I want to share with you guys. I want to go over something that was sent to one of my subscribers. Shout out to Eastern Indigo. He's brought this to my attention. And I think this is very, very important because we hear this term partner all the time. And I know some people agree with it, some people don't. However, he brought something to my attention that Obsidian went over when it comes to this term partner and about how partners have equity and build equity within relationships, while people, or should I say women, who wait at the finish line for men to be successful, they don't have equity. And he sent me a clip from YouTuber Psych Hacks to kind of like go over this, and he used a very, very good explanation and example that I want to share with you guys as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
So I used to believe that lie that men look for women who have a career or have education, or at least the principle that I used to operate under is if I'm going to demand that of a man, I should at least be able to deliver that. The reason why I got my degree and then I started down my career. And then my dating preference was always the man had to make as much money as myself or higher. And when you look at men, they really honestly don't care. And it wasn't until I got with my fiance, and it offended me at first because I worked so hard to get to where I was, to making the amount of money that I was making. And he made it abundantly clear, like, that does not matter at all. So there's such a lie that's being fed to women. You don't need the degree to impress the guy. You don't need the career. I think a lot of women would be better off staying out of debt, not getting that degree, and being honest. And if they want to be traditional, find a traditional man and just skip the whole heartache of going through college. Because I'm telling you, I wasted a lot of time and money.
And the reason why she wasted a lot of time and money is because she told on herself at the end of this clip, if you want a traditional man, because she wanted a man that paid all the bills. She wanted that lifestyle. However, she was fed this lie that in order for her to obtain that, she needs to be able to provide for it herself. Now, not to saying that there's anything wrong with that. If a woman can provide that for herself and then demand that or more, kudos to you. You can want what you want. However, the illogical part of it that women don't understand is self-sabotaging is the fact that you can't expect a man to sit over here and care about how much money you make if you expected him to pay for everything. Otherwise, why the fuck should I care? And that's the part that women can't get over. But it only makes sense to men and not women, which is astounding to me, but let's keep it moving.
When I say I don't want to do the cooking and cleaning, I mean that
across the board for no man. And if he is financially well endowed and I don't have to work, then we will order food. We will hire someone to do those tasks for us. I will be auditioning. I will be making content. I will be traveling. I will be shopping, but I will not be cooking and cleaning.
So you're just going to go ahead and create a whole bunch of bills for that man, cause him a whole bunch of headaches, basically be a liability. And let me know in the comment section, why would a wealthy man or any man choose to be with somebody like that? May I say leftover? Would you be mad at me when I say leftover?
Shout out to Soraya, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to her channel, bro. She does great content. Actually met her in Germany a few months ago. Dope, cool chick. Husband is very blessed and lucky to have a woman like her who is not a liability. Let's keep it moving. Now, I wanted y'all to show y'all this because this is what the brother Eastern Indigo sent to me, man. Before we get into the Psychics video, I want to go over this because this was uploaded by Mr. Obsidian himself. And it starts off by saying, partners have equity and why black women have none. Over the years and increasingly in our time, the word partner keeps coming up in romantic discourse, perhaps a result of the alphabet people's ascendancy in American society, American social and legal life. I'm not going to read the parentheses. This term has increased in frequency, but as you might imagine, I find it quite problematic, especially when it comes to black love conversations. Here's why. It says, first, black women have made it abundantly clear that they have zero desire to build a boo, that they have no intention to struggle love. They expect black men to come to their fully formed and arrive at the pinnacle of their success with all accountabilities entails. Fair enough. The problem with this position, and this brings me to the second point, is that these same black women then also want to be a partner. And he put it in quotation marks, by which they mean that they want to have executive decision-making power in what goes on and how it's carried out. If it is to happen at all, they want nothing to do with building a boo, but they do want everything to do with telling that boo what to do in the house that he has built, with, unlike her, no help. Get down here to the bottom because this is like a video actually. Since it has become painfully obvious that the vast majority, of the lovely ladies have absolutely no idea what a true partner entails, here, let me help you. In order to make your partner at any firm worth the name, you first have to be bringing investment capital to the table. Consider if your fee to buy in. As with anything else in life, buying in when the stock is low is typically the way to go. But therein lies the next problem so many lovely ladies in our community have. They don't want to take on any risk. You see, the lower the stock, the higher the risk. The higher the stock, the lower the risk. But in the latter case, you have to put up more money to buy in, and you have to put some said money up in front. Since most black women do not understand trade-offs very well, this too will likely, fly right over most of their heads. The third major problem most black women face in this regard is that they also do not want to bring a book of business with which is to invest in said firm. I'm trying to skip the what's in parentheses, you guys, so I can kind of speed through this because this is a lot to read. If you don't know what that term means, a book of business, please avail yourself of the nearest AI assistant. When it comes to making partner in a firm or startup, having a book of business is vital. And that most of black women today are lacking in all three areas in this regard. It is impossible to regard them as any partner in any true sense of the word. They are anything but. They have no equity in the firm and thus no executive say in how things are done either. Let me see, did it go further? Okay. Black women can and will be many things to many black men: wives, mothers, baby mamas, paramours, lovers, friends, lady friends, concubines, jump off side chicks, sneaky links, and so on. But few, and I mean few, black women can ever truly say that they are or were a partner, because partners have equity and most black women do not. Any questions? Jesus Christ, Obsidian. Woo! This was tough. But if you don't understand in that context, I'm going to send you over to Psychax. This was sent to me by Eastern Indigo as well. And I think he did just as good, if not a better job of explaining exactly what we mean by equity. Check this out.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psychax, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is only founders get equity. This one is for the ladies. Gentlemen, feel free to send this on to your sisters and daughters. I'm here to help. Now, in the business world, investing in an untried company is an inherently risky endeavor. Pouring time, energy, and money into a project with an uncertain or even a low chance of success is not something to be done lightly or with casual indifference. Many of these companies have nothing to show for themselves yet, or even money with which to pay their workers. So the way these companies attract investors and talent is with equity, the promise of a portion of the company's eventual success if and when it goes public. Equity is how people, after several years, become multimillionaires overnight. Bet on the right pony, and that initial investment or that year or two of effort can come back 10,000-fold. And on some level, that's fair. These people took a significant risk, they deferred their gratification, and would have been left with nothing if the company hadn't panned out. In my opinion, they deserve their jackpot. They are substantially compensated for their substantial risk. And any company that is just starting out will attempt to lure its potential investors and collaborators, its founders, with a vision of the future and a promised slice of the pie. High risk, but high reward. Now, many folks are going to turn down this offer as too risky. Instead, they're going to wait to see what happens. Maybe the company goes to the moon, but maybe, or probably, it's going to fail. If it fails, bullet dodged. And if it succeeds, well, they could always apply for a position if and when the company gets through with its growing pains. But here's the thing. If you, the potential employee, wait to seek a position at a company only after it's been successfully established, you're not going to get equity. You're going to get a salary at best. Now, this might be a good salary. I mean, a lot of companies where I live offer their employees six-figure salaries. But it is a salary nonetheless. You're likely never going to become a multimillionaire, and you will need to work 40 hours or more for the rest of your career. You might do very well for yourself, but it's a very different situation to be an employee at a successful company than to be a founder at a successful startup. The same thing holds true with long-term relationships. I'll speak from my own experience. Let me tell you, when I was in my early 20s, boy, oh boy, was I interested in getting married. And why was I so keen on getting hitched back then? Because I sure could have used the help. I was broke. I was living in subsidized housing in Brooklyn. The place was furnished with stuff that I found on the streets. I didn't know how to cook. My place was filthy, and I had no real prospects. I had nothing to offer but myself, which I learned doesn't get you very much in the sexual marketplace. Now, here's the thing. Even back then, I knew who I was, and I had a vision for the future. I knew what I was capable of, and I believed in myself. Even when no one else did, I believed in myself. And I had absolute confidence in my ability to achieve my vision. And I would pitch that to the women that I dated. This is what we could build together. I could really use your help. Unfortunately, my vision was just not a sufficiently attractive offer to the women in question. And this was painful at the time, but I totally get it now. After all, most startups fail. There are a lot of guys with ambition and potential who never end up realizing their dream. I get it. It's always riskier to bet on a horse before the race is run. So, in my case, what happened? Well, since I couldn't find a helper, and since I wasn't ready to give up on my dream, I had to roll up my sleeves and do it myself. And back then, I didn't really know anything about anything. And it turns out, to use my analogy, it's actually extremely complicated to launch a successful business. For instance, you need to know about marketing. and I didn't know anything about marketing. So I would have loved to bring on a woman who could do that, but I couldn't find one even though I offered equity. So I learned marketing myself. You also need to know about accounting, and I didn't know anything about accounting. So I would have loved to bring a woman on for that, but I couldn't find one to do that either, even though I offered equity. So I learned about accounting myself, and so forth and so on. Because I wasn't successful in attracting a woman for a long-term partnership with the prospect of equity in a future successful relationship, I functionally hired myself for all of those roles. Nowadays, I'm the CEO and the CTO and the COO and the head of HR and the chef who caters the meetings. Hell, at this point, I'm the chief diversity officer. Do you understand? I'm everything because I've had to be. And now that my company is fairly successful, now that I bring in a significant amount of revenue, now that I have some clout and status and market share, now that I don't need to hire anyone because I've learned to do everything myself, guess what? The resumes are just pouring in.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
See what I'm saying? This is why I express on this channel all the time, bro. Average men. Just because you're average does not mean you cannot self-improve. It does not mean you cannot level up. If you want living proof, you are looking at it. If I would have told you 3-4 years ago that I would be sitting here in front of a camera talking to what is almost 74,000 subscribers here in Thailand, I would have never thought it would be true. I would have never thought it been possible. But because of the self-improvement journey, but because I had a goal in mind, and because I wanted to reach that, and like him and many other men, you might have been motivated by not being able to obtain the women that you wanted, before you built up the equity that you have now. And what I'm trying to explain to the men and get women to understand is that you can't expect men to treat you the same way they would treat a woman that built it from the ground up with them. You can't expect that. I literally just reacted to a clip of a white boy who went viral because he's like pretty young for his age, but he's already a millionaire. But the girl that he done put in a Lambo and all that was helping him pay bills when he was broke, and before he started his business and got to where he's at now. Look at some of your famous celebrities that are still married. LL Cool J, Snoop Dogg, Lorenzo Tate, like guys that have been married for years. And these are women that were with them before they became stars. You don't think they're going to take care of those women if those women were to ever break up with them or get a divorce? Now, we don't wish that upon anybody. But the reason why those men would make sure those women are taken care of is because they built equity. They were with them before the success came. Y'all keep saying y'all want to wait at the finish line. Cool, do what you want. But understand that you're more likely are going to get less return in investment, ROI. You're going to get less return than you would if you would have built with the man. And there are plenty of stories of couples that have built together and are doing really well and living pretty, I would say somewhat lavish lifestyles. So it's definitely possible, and men are trying to explain this to women, but they don't want to hear it because they rather just wait at the finish line. And clearly waiting at the finish line ain't working in their favor, because those men are smart enough to know why you're waiting at the finish line, so they're going to treat you as such. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know when I'm uploading. Hit the like button because it helps with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel vlog channel, Unplugged Traveler. Link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.